What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Wednesday, June 7th, and you know what that means. Shout out Brody Lee. We've got a really fun show today lined up. We got a two-man show. First time in a while that I've done one of these with one of our newest members, who I'll introduce in 1 second. This is going to be a fun episode. You know, nowadays everyone listens to their iPods and all of that, but we're going to be listening to CDs today. We got Clark and we got Dryzzy. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. I have no idea what happened to Ben. He disappeared. I'm not gonna say he's tied up here next to me, but he might be. I don't know.
Oh, the good news is I don't think he is. Apparently, there's a big soccer game, UEFA Cup, whatever that is. I would imagine I think the E stands
Um,
for Europe. Um,
yes, I'm familiar with the world, but not with the when you get over there to there because I think that's a
yeah,
whole lot more big time than that's like the major leagues. Well,
I,
no, there's some
I
MLS.
think
Never
that's
mind.
like the big stuff. It's a big tournament, and I think they got the whole family over. So he called me and was like, "Hey, do you mind if I watch the game?" I'm like, "You're preaching to the choir there. I'm gonna need to watch a game at some point, probably here in the fall when Kansas basketball season comes up." So I'll keep that one in my back pocket for later, Ben. No, I'm just totally kidding.
Awesome.
But yeah, let's get into the show, shouldn't we? I mean,
Oh, before we start,
well,
rest in peace to the Iron Sheik.
thank you so much, by the way. That is an awesome save. I meant to say that. Absolutely. Rest in peace. A complete legend. WWE Hall of Famer. First ballot. No question. The Iron Sheik. There is no Hulk Hogan without Sheik. And rest in peace. Absolutely. Best wishes to his family. And what an amazing career and life lived. And, his legacy will live on forever for sure. Right, Jersey?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, now on that note, let's do get into the show. Thank you, though, by the way. You really bailed me out on that one.
I got caught up in the whole China Ben thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. I got all tied up in that one too. That was fun. No, but so I mean, out of the gates, we got Forbidden Door coming up, and things are starting to heat up right away. A lot of this happened kind of on New Japan television, which for me, given I was at a wedding this weekend, I missed some of, but I caught myself up as best I could early this week. I don't know if you saw any of that, the AEW stars sort of invading the New Japan show at all. Drizzy, did you see any of that stuff?
I've seen bits and pieces. It's hard for me to keep up with New Japan because of the way my schedule works. But
Absolutely.
I normally at the end of each month try to do like a big sit down and get like an overview of what's going on. I am aware of the BBC over there, the
BCC.
BCC.
You're
My
good.
bad.
Nah, it's all good.
And yeah, so it's definitely at the end of the month. I'm gonna do a big recap, but by the end it'll be time for Forbidden Door, so they'll be showing it on our time frame.
For,
So
for for sure. And so what I'll say is, I did my absolute best to catch up. I feel pretty caught up. In my eyes, the Danielson Okada match is clearly dream match material. That's what they're setting up for. It's really exciting. I don't know if Okada being the babyface sets up for the best possible match, although I don't know that it matters either way. But I would love to be able to see a lot of selling from Brian Danielson on Okada's offense. I still think we'll get that in some ways. Doesn't matter either way. Put Danielson and Okada in a ring and sign me up. The other one we're going to talk about for a second, Omega Osprey 2. If you saw one, I don't know if you did. I actually stayed up late at night and watched that one way back. And we talked about it on this very podcast months ago at Wrestle Kingdom. What a match. That one was outstanding. About as good as you could ask for, about as good as it gets. Sign me up for round two. I mean, I guess the only thing I would say is what took you so long, but it's kind of cool because this time it'll feel a little bit more like Kenny's playing a home game than Osprey. Whereas when they wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom, that was, in my eyes at least, a home game for Will. This will be a home game for Kenny. Um, I don't know though, as far as the result goes, it seems like it has to be Will Ospreay in this one, and that would be my only complaint about seeing it a second time around. Do you have any thoughts to add to that, Jersey?
the story with it is what really got me. Like the match, absolutely great. Omega Osprey. In fact, they were building this last year. After I want to say at the last whenever Kenny came back and they had the trios tournament. they've been building this for a little bit. And then at Wrestle, what I don't want to say it was Wrestle King. It may have been at New Year's Dash where Osprey's just kind of at the podium and he's like, I don't know. I just don't like. He's just in his. He had that. I know I can beat him. I can't just let him leave and come and go as he wants. I'm supposed to be the guy that's Mr. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Kenny Omega just he held the flag, put the flag down, left, and went to his own thing, and that alone makes me think that Will Ospreay is going to do whatever it takes to take it this second time around. I absolutely love that story war. That's one thing that New Japan does very well. They tell great stories that aren't your typical things. And I think it's because of the way they book. They book so starting at the beginning of the year all the way through the year. Things like this really hit home for me.
I totally agree. I think you're absolutely right. There's so much emotion involved in the New Japan's type storytelling, right? It's very much almost like it's almost closer to professional sports than it is professional wrestling. And I'm not saying that it's less entertainment based, but it feels very much like because of the fighting spirit aspect, a more traditional babyface makes more sense in New Japan than it does necessarily in the American promotions,
Mhm.
I would say. And I think that lends to some of that storytelling. It's very hard to be a babyface in America because
Very.
American fans want to turn on you quickly, really quickly. And we got a couple of comments, by the way, too, that I'll add, both from Carl Kinahan. He said it's been a great title run, but it's time for an end, IMO, and they have the right guy. I believe that's in reference to Kenny.
Mhm.
I mean, not Kenny. I'm sorry. Danielson and Okada. Or is that the Kenny one? That's got to be the Kenny one. Yeah, never mind. That was silly of me. It's got to be Ospreay takes the belt back. His
Yeah.
second comment, though, Will versus Kenny in Canada is definitely setting up All In England. I agree. What better place
Mm.
for a rubber match than
Very,
speaking of
very
playing
good.
home games? And I mean, I guess you could actually consider New Japan kind of neutral turf. You give Kenny the home game at Forbidden Door. In Canada, you give Ospreay the true home game at Wembley. That has some legs in my eyes, at least. I don't know about you, Drizzy. What do you think?
Does it? I like that idea, but if we were starting with that, definitely.
Yeah.
But so now we get to the point. I don't know if we have the if making it doesn't make sense to me to have the rubber match in England, even though I can see where it's an AEW show, but you're in Will's hometown. I kind of feel like the rubber match really should happen in the next Wrestle Kingdom.
I hear where you're coming from there, but the only thing I will say is, I mean, in my eyes, at least for the I believe it's the Ganjin is what it's called, the best foreign
Gaijin.
born wrestler. Gaijin.
Yeah.
So yeah. The Gaijin. I mean, I would consider Kenny a past one from New Japan, right? And then probably
Hmm.
Ospreay the current one,
Yeah.
right? And so they already wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom,
Hmm.
neutral site kind of. They started with, they did it in reverse order.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason Kenny, because Forbidden Door, if correct me if I'm wrong, it's in Canada.
Yes.
Forbidden Door is in Canada, so that's gonna be a home game for Kenny.
Hmm.
It almost feels like Will would be owed one for the rubber match, right? You go neutral
Yeah.
site, home game, home and home for the
Yeah.
last two, as much as, but it's to me that's like I would compare it to the NBA finals, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be at home in game 7. It's not like the Super Bowl where you get to the neutral site eventually,
Right.
right? You get
Yeah.
the home game in the conference championship. This would be more like the NBA finals where yeah, somebody's going to get game 7 in their home yard.
Hmm.
And that doesn't bother me too much, but I definitely hear where you're coming from on maybe the third at Wrestle Kingdom. If Forbidden Door wasn't in Canada, I would say no doubt the third. If say they did this for some reason at Double or Nothing in Vegas,
Hmm.
then I would say you do the third at Wrestle Kingdom without
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
right? No doubt. But I think because of the fact that um, they've already done the right, they're
They've al-
both New Japan legends.
Right.
So it's like that's kind of like that's neutral, you
Yeah,
know?
that's the neutral site, and then you get Canada for Kenny, you get
Yeah,
England for Will, and I feel like they're if they do all in England, they're definitely gonna spin it where both of these men have some type of tie here because
right.
England and AEW. So
Right. There's and a split crowd at Wembley because of the size of the stadium is actually not worst case scenario in this match.
right.
Unlike other places, not places necessarily, but a smaller arena, and split crowds are kind of tough. That size building, a split crowd is almost more electric
Mhm.
because you'll have half the crowd chanting one thing. It goes back to almost like the Cena sucks, let's go Cena days,
Oh, yes,
which
definitely.
was annoying at times, but at other times you could tell the crowd was electric. And a split crowd isn't always the worst thing. It's not always the best thing, but there's time and place, I think, for sure. But with that, let's move on to the next topic of the day, Drizzy, which Statlander versus Anna Jay tonight for the TBS title. First defense. I might have thought, uh, you
Actually, it's
know,
the second.
second defense. You're
She
right.
did.
I apologize. You're exactly right. Yes, second title defense. But either way, against Anna Jay, who's a legitimate contender, I thought there might be more build for this. But I want to get your thoughts on the match as a whole, and then your prediction as well.
I feel like if they were gonna do this, they probably should have done it as like an open challenge. Anna Jay is somebody who has a bit of a name to her, and it's been surrounded with challenging for that belt a lot more. So we know that we know what the end game is technically for this. I don't expect any surprises. I do expect a really good showing because Anna Jay has become better as she's been going these rounds with these top contenders, and I believe it's gonna be a solid match. It's gonna be a absolute. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a clinic, but it's definitely a better version of an enhancement match. It's here to make Statlander look good, a fighting champion, your baby face that's willing to face anybody. Where Jade was just looking for people for big matches. Statlander is your fighting champion. We're fighting every night. Anytime we can defend the title, we're gonna do it. And I do expect a little bit of shenanigans because it's Anna JAS. So
I totally agree with a lot of what you said there. Almost everything, actually pretty much everything. The only caveat and the only thing I would add is it bothers me slightly that it feels like Anna Jay, who was one of the most legitimate contenders when it came to Jade's run, she pushed Jade as far as anyone that wrestled her in singles competition. I believe they had 2 matches
mhm.
out of it. Um, Now you turn around and she feels like more of a threat to Statlander, but we still know that Stat's going to go over. And so I don't know that this does anything positive for Anna Jay. I would save her for a bigger moment in this TBS title picture, especially if you're not going to have Jade go right back after it. That's where I'm a little bit thrown. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Drizzy?
I think WWE has conditioned us to believe that, like, when you have a major title change like that, it instantly rose you like that fighting champion. Oh, we're gonna fight everybody. You get like 3 defenses back to back weeks, and then the former champ's like, "Hey, I want my rematch." I think we're conditioned to that because that's what I'm expecting now. I'm expecting
Yeah.
maybe another defense, and then Jade's gonna come back and like, "Hey, I wasn't prepared for you. Let's do this at All In." I don't know if All In's where that's gonna happen, but let's just throw All In there.
Yeah.
Let's That's what's gonna happen, and then you get that knockdown, drag out fight that we really expected for Jade and Statlander. Now, I don't know what Jade's rest schedule looks like. I do remember seeing that she wanted to take a little bit of time, to be with her family and stuff like that. But eventually, that's gonna happen.
It's gotta.
It's gonna happen. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think Anna Jade should be in this mix of title defenses. I think this is where you get like the Kira Hogan's. You get maybe a
Red Velvet.
Red Velvet.
I'm trying to think. There's a couple others I would even name.
If Layla Hirsch was coming back, something like
Layla
that.
Hirsch would be a great one.
Like you get your people like that. I wouldn't
Gosh,
even mind seeing Talia in that.
I
Maybe the
wouldn't
last
either.
defense before Jade comes.
I mean, even Sky Blue is fine.
In fact, definitely Sky Blue.
Sky Blue would be
Definitely.
great in this spot.
Mhm,
And I think it would do something for Sky Blue, whereas I think it hurts Anna Jay in a roundabout way.
mhm. Because it's like Anna Jay is. I don't want to say she's the top level, but she's at the level where it's just above mid card. Like
Yeah,
she
I
very
would call
well
her
could. Yeah, go ahead.
mid to upper, mid to upper mid card,
Mhm,
but with clearly the youth and potential to break through that
Mhm.
and be a main event talent. And so that's where I'm like, you got to be careful
Mhm.
because you don't want to do what the WWE's kind of done with, and I'm not trying to throw the WWE, AEW's done the same thing with multiple wrestlers, but like Sonya Deville, for example, so
Mhm.
physically talented, so strong, age on her side, all these things going for her, and she hasn't won a singles match in like 3 years.
Right.
Come
It's
on.
like she's strong enough to fight with Ronda Rousey, but not gonna
Yeah.
beat her. But she's strong enough to beat like Raquel
Yeah.
Gonzalez and them. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, can we get Sonya a win every now and again? Like, just once in a while. But
And that's exactly the best way to explain Anna Jay. Like she's just there enough to, like if she was a challenge for the world title, you wouldn't bat an eye for it
no,
because
no,
she's just that good, and because she's so young. But yeah, I wouldn't put her in this defense. We kind of know what's gonna happen.
100%. We're in agreement there. Let's move on to the next match, which is the artist formerly known as Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, teaming with Hook. So it's not Jungle Hook anymore. That's disappointing. Because I was a big Jungle Book fan, by the way. That was like one of my favorite movies as a kid. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a Hookamaniac.
A hookamaniac.
I'm a Hookamaniac. I
Put
love
that on
Hook.
a shirt. Put
Huge
that
fan.
on a shirt.
I am the Hookamaniacs will run wild tonight, but it's against Dralistico and
Mhm.
Preston Vance. So Preston Vance to another unbelievable talent with his size, formerly known as 10, and in-ring talent. We don't get to see him a lot on Dynamite, but he's so young. So young. I mean, we're talking about a guy that was -1 Brody Lee Jr.'s babysitter, right? He's a young dude.
That's his
Um,
bodyguard.
that too,
His
that too. Same thing.
bodyguard.
Well, he turned on him too. I can't wait to see them pay that off in like 6 or 7 years. Um, I think Brody's gonna get him, Junior. Um, but but either way, this one tonight, I mean, Preston Vance is awesome. Similar scenario though with the Statlander and a J thing. I think if you're gonna give him the opportunity, not against Jungle Boy and Hook, not against Jack Perry and Hook. Jack Perry and Hook are so both over and good. This is such a no-brainer to book match. But do you have anything? Do you see a potential upset? Do they push him to the brink?
This match is so in the middle because we just had Jack Perry in a world title match. Hook, who's one of the hotter stars in AEW, and Dralistico and Preston Vance, who we're trying to elevate because as a tag team, this can be your um I want to call them LIJ so bad, but they're not LIJ. Los Ingonables, the faction Ingonables. If I'm saying that right.
Yes,
I'm just
that's
gonna call
correct.
them
La
Los
La
Ingonables.
Faction La Faction this or de England. Yeah, you got it.
We're
Whatever.
gonna call them Ingonables.
Yes.
But we're trying to build them up because they're trying to give that faction more time on TV because they have been hurt by all the different stories going on in the last round of pay-per-view stuff. Uh this is Preston Vance, a great talent who needs to be on TV, a great homegrown talent that AEW has. They need to be building these people up. Having them with Rush, having them with Andrade, Roosh, and Andrade absolutely helps them a million times. And I I feel like a loss hurts both. But I don't know which way they're gonna go with it. It very well could go either way. I don't know. In fact, I don't even know if this could be just a way to bring Roosh in and or bring Andrade in because both of them should be due to come back pretty soon. With Collision coming up soon.
100%. I hear you there. And yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of comments too here from Anthony Manzano, which little off topic, but this one is about, are you a soccer fan? The answer is kind of. My best friend's from Argentina growing up. And so I do follow, especially the World Cup and some of that. And my sister actually, ironically, works for Major League Soccer. So I did hear the news. Messi is headed to Miami. Shout out Mike Ryan, one of my favorite producers from the Dan Lebitard show. I know he's a big Miami fan and he's more than stoked. So yeah, no, I mean, I did hear about it, and then I do appreciate the support on this. Yes, I will just say LIJ from now on. But prediction for Tony Khan's announcement. Numero one Superfly shout out. Thank you again for coming back in the comments. Prediction for, and same with Anthony Manzano as well as Carl Kinahan. Thank you all you guys. But prediction for Tony Khan's announcement. The main event is CM Punk versus Mojo. The stipulation being the loser must help Tony Khan grow a mustache. While far-fetched, that is hysterical. But I do not see that, and I do not see it being Samoa Joe myself. In my personal opinion, I'll answer that one, and then I'll ask Drizzy his, and then we'll move on to the next topic. But I'm really confident that the first one is going to be CM Punk versus Wardlow, the rematch. First match back, because I think they really anticipate Punk coming back as a heel. I think that's the route they go. It's a weird one. It's a little out of left field, but that's just my guess. How about you, Drizzy?
I actually kind of agree with in the comments.
You like
CM
Samoa?
Punk and Joe.
It's not
It
bad.
might be the thing. I mean, it might be the thing. Joe's still the TV champion, correct?
I believe so. That's my only fear
I
is,
can see that match being thrown out.
but I see with AEW doesn't love doing the DQ finishes. That's my biggest reason the only thing it's perfect on
They
paper.
they
You have
don't
two
do it.
ROH legends,
Yeah.
but you can't have CM Punk lose in a title match or have a complete non-finish and have him walk out of there not being booed in whatever arena he's in next. And that would be my fear. I'd keep him away from Joe until you can build to that and make it make sense with a logical finish
Mm,
because of their history and how many times they've kind of, crossed paths throughout their careers.
yeah.
I think you hold off on that one just for the time being, as much as I do love the prediction. As far as the Tony Khan Garner mustache thing, uh, his facial hair is going to be whatever it is.
It's like it's a mustache.
He's doing his best.
It's
Shad's got a legendary mustache, curled. It's
like
iconic. His dad, one of the best stashes in the game. Yeah, exactly. It's like Raleigh Fingers from the Oakland A's. But let's move along to the next topic, which is Jay White versus Ricky Starkz. Okay, I'm actually going to toss this to you out of the gates, Drizzy.
Mhm.
I want your prediction. I want your thoughts on the rivalry. I want to know what you think they do from here as well.
This is another kind of a loss really hurts both. Ricky needs the power, the smoke to get up there because they're trying to build him as a main event player. Where Jay White came in and supposed to be a main event player, but kind of in a mid card feud. Juice and FTR are banned from ringside. This is a way to build to a 6-man tag, which I kind of felt like the 6-man tag should have happened first before we get to the whole Jay White Ricky Stark feud. Jay White comes in right off the bat and just is going at at the guy that they're supposed to be building around right now. I really don't think Jay White can take a loss in his first feud in AEW. I do expect a if you listen to my words correctly, Juice and FTR are banned from ringside. Doesn't mean anybody else isn't. Bullet Club Gold will get their third member tonight, and I do believe just a shot in the dark. I'm gonna say that it's either Kenta or LP, El Phantasma. It's gonna be one of those two, but
I love this,
definitely.
Drizzy. Not to cut you off here, but I was going to say in the opposite order. I think it's El Phantasmo or it's Kenta. So, I mean, finish your thought there. I'm so sorry, but
No,
like,
that was
yeah,
the
I was
thought.
okay, perfect. Then we're good. I'm like, oh, I'm dying. Like, we're so on the same page. It's not even funny. Like, I mean, we just got our time back too, which is even better. We're right on schedule now. But yeah, no, ELP or Kenta would be both awesome. I don't know if you follow ELP on Instagram, but I've actually noticed lately he's been posting like a lot of like kind of photo compilations of like matches he's had with no caption. And
Oh,
it's funny that you say that, like it almost looks like nostalgia. Like
right.
he's going somewhere, right? Would you do all that with no caption? Post all these random action shot photos
Mhm.
of you wrestling if you weren't going somewhere else.
That's
And
right.
that is very interesting to me. And then we got a comment here from Matt Williams. El Phantasmo is cool. I totally agree,
Yes.
Matt Williams. Shout
Yes.
out.
And he has to bring the loaded boot.
I
He
could
has to
not.
bring
Oh, he's
the loaded boot.
gotta bring the loaded boot. Honest to goodness, it's really funny. You imagine that, like, not to get totally off topic, but like before the chairman gimmick, when Sean Spears was doing the loaded black glove with Tully Blanchard. That cracked me up during the pandemic, just randomly. Like,
Yes.
we need to see more loaded gloves and boots and things like that. Like, this just cracked, like the steel toe boot stuff back in the day.
Right.
Like, it's great. It's pure pro wrestling entertainment. I dig it. But for the next match we've got coming up, which isn't a match at all, it's Tony Khan is keeping the streak alive. He's trying to be the Joe DiMaggio of announcements. 4 straight weeks in a row. He's making another one. 4 for 4. He's got 52 to go to catch DiMaggio, but this is going to be interesting. Let's go with our predictions. What's the announcement?
The announcement will be CM Punk will be opening Collision because he's CM Punk. And honest to God, the show should be called AEW, the CM Punk show, because that's exactly what this is. This show, they were going to get this show no matter what, but now it's CM Punk's show. There's like, we can do whatever we want here as long as CM Punk and Ace Steel are happy with it.
It's the Punk show. I just removed myself from the stream temporarily. That was a mistake. But no, it's the CM Punk show. I couldn't agree more. Chicago guy myself. I think it'll be great. I think the announcement is that CM Punk will open. I also think he may announce the official main event for Forbidden Door. That would be really cool. I actually think that might be the smarter move and keep Collision a little bit more up in the air. I'm not sure. I might already announce maybe Danielson Okada or even Omega Ospreay too.
Or Okada will be there.
Now we're talking.
That's worthy of Tony Khan's got a big announcement.
Yeah.
That's worthy of it.
Danielson Okada. It's perfect. Just put it on the books. I mean, the only other one that I've been just waiting on is when is Ibushi going to save Omega for the Blood and Guts feud with BCC and Takeshita. Those are separate, but that's when Ibushi's coming back. And I wonder if he'll factor into the Forbidden Door card at all, because that's an interesting dynamic with his relationship or lack thereof with New Japan.
Right.
At this point,
that's
right?
what it's gonna like, because everybody's been talking about Kota Ibushi, but I'm like, Kota kind of doesn't. He doesn't have a contract with anybody right now, so he could do what he wants.
But he's got the best ability right now. Availability. He's definitely available. And so that'd be interesting as well. We got a couple more comments. I love this. Thank you guys. We're getting blown up in the comments. This is awesome.
Talk to us.
Yeah, talk to us, guys. I shot Tony Khan a DM that I have no problem working with CM Punk. Oh, that's awesome. You guys got to book a sweet storyline. That's a great call. Actually, that might be. No, I'm kidding, Matt. I love that though. That cracks me up. And then haven't heard back yet. I'm sure TK is just busy.
Give him a little bit of time. It's showtime. It's showtime.
I would wait that out. He'll get back to you, Matt. No, almost no doubt. Almost no doubt. I think at some point you'll hear from TK. He'll be like, you know what? We need you. Although, don't just agree to a squash. Try to get a couple of offensive moves in. See if you can negotiate.
Ask if you can kick out of GTS.
Yeah. Ask if you can kick out of the GTS.
You don't have to win the match. Just ask if you can kick out of it.
I wouldn't go that far. I might go like, see if you can get Anaconda Vice and get a rope break, like a foot on the rope.
There we go.
Big pop for that. That'd be awesome. But with that, let's move on to another topic, which is just speaking, and this is AEW World Champion MJF. So I'll go first on this one. Anytime MJF speaks, it's awesome. He can talk about nothing and make it entertaining. He could do an episode of Seinfeld and play all the characters by himself. Like, honestly, it's the most talented microphone guy in wrestling I've seen in decades. It's off the charts. It all but almost doesn't matter what he says, because you can really only compare at this moment MJF to either himself or Roman Reigns. So if you're being negative about an MJF promo, it's only against other MJF promos. It's not against anybody else in the business besides maybe Reigns. Maybe. And even that to me is a little bit of reach. He's got Heyman and all that stuff. MJF can you hand him a microphone. You can give him a hockey jersey and a microphone, and he can make a whole crowd hate him or love him or do whatever they want. He can make them dance if he wanted to. It's ridiculous. And whatever he's going to say tonight to build towards whatever rivalry he does have or doesn't at Forbidden Door, given all the stuff he said about New Japan and who's even available on the table and whatnot, I'm just excited to hear. And this is one of the few times in wrestling, and this is what I love so much about Max. I have no prediction. I have no idea what he's going to say. This could literally be anything. But Drizzy, do you have any thoughts on like what he's going to talk about, why he's going to talk about it? What's next for Max?
That is a very good question, and honest to God, I myself don't know where he goes from now. If you would have asked me a few months ago, I would have said that they would be building toward that Pillars match that they just had at Double or Nothing. But now he's beaten all of your guys that you want to establish. Where do we go now? Do we go Jericho? Do we go Mox? Do we go Punk? Do we go what? This is definitely building to whoever he's going to be facing at all out or at all out. Because I really don't see him defending his belt at All In. I see him being there for some type of match, but not actually not being in a title match at All In. Um,
What about
for
Forbidden Door?
Forbidden Door, possibly. And if he does do anything at Forbidden Door, the only person I could see him doing anything with would be Naito,
Oh, that'd be
Tetsuya Naito.
interesting.
Because you're gonna get if I was booking it, the whole story would be I want to get in Naito's head, which is like trying to break into Fort Knox. It's almost impossible. He is tranquilo. He
Yeah.
is cool. He is calm. And this is also a biased thing of I just want to see him in an AEW ring because I am a Naito fan. I love all the Lij guys.
Yep.
It That's the only one that really would hit me. Maybe a Zack Sabre Jr., but it's we're gonna be building for that all out match definitely. All out match definitely. They got to move all out and all in away from each other.
I think in the future, yes, but as a Chicago guy, I'm going to try to go to both. So I have no problem with that. And All Out the last few years has been over my birthday weekend
Mm,
in my hometown. So I've gone both times. It's my favorite weekend of the year. It's awesome. Last year was literally on my birthday. We sat in the second row. It was Brawl Out didn't even ruin it for me. I didn't care. We had a blast. It was iconic. But another I love the Naito call. I think that's outstanding. That might be the right choice. Another comment here from numero one Superfly. What about
Tanahashi.
MJF versus Tanahashi? Now that would be interesting, but I actually think is Tanahashi hurt? I believe that's what I heard. Don't quote me on that 100%, but
Yeah,
I
I'm not
believe
100%.
he's
I'm
either
not 100%
injured or
either on
not
that.
active currently. Right, the second he's like taking time off. So I don't know if that's in the cards, but on paper that'd be a really fun one. Obviously, we
Mhm.
saw a fun match with him and Moxley last year. One I would add that's not Forbidden Door related, but heck, you can tell a story about maybe MJF being unwilling to wrestle anybody from New Japan. And what about Adam Cole?
Mhm.
What about Adam Cole versus Max at Forbidden Door?
Mm.
I wouldn't mind that so much. I don't know. I mean, in my eyes, I truly believe if we can fantasy book this all the way out, all in to all out, I think we need CM Punk and FTR on the poster in the main event against the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And then 1 week later, CM Punk versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Because then AEW's rolling in cash at that point.
Mhm.
Those are the two biggest matches you can make. And you do it in a row. I mean, that would be, I don't know if they can all work together, but given the wishful thinking, a boy can dream, right?
Mhm. The
you know,
question: do you pull the trigger on CM Punk beating Maxwell?
if if you haven't already signed that, if the bidding war of 2024 is gonna happen, yeah, you do. You don't let that wait
Mm,
till you don't wait out till December. We all
I
know what
would.
happened with the Hitman in WCW.
I would. I'd let it get that. I'd let it get so close. In fact, if you could get, I'm gonna look at the calendar in a minute, but if we could get as humanly close as possible to January 1st with Maxwell either getting the belt, I mean having the belt at then, or if he was to lose the belt and he's frantic to get it back before then.
Okay, honest to goodness, let's do this. Let's talk about Orange. Hold that thought. We're going to come back to this. We're going to get through Orange Cassidy and Swerve Strickland really quickly because you and I are both fans of it. And then we're going to finish the show with this conversation because I think this is the best one. So Cassidy Strickland is supposed to be the last segment of the day for the international title. Quick picks. Who's your pick?
Swerve.
I would love to see Swerve take the title as well, and I believe that it's Swerve's night. It makes perfect sense. I think. I also think headed to, darn it, Forbidden Door. Strickland defending the international title against somebody from New Japan makes tons of sense. You can still have Orange Cassidy on the card, maybe paired with Best Friends, given all of their New Japan history, against somebody over there in a trios match. I'm all for that. And I think we're both on the same page there. Swerve Strickland, tonight's the night. Title change. It's time. Definitely. But back to what we were discussing before, which was MJF.
Yes.
I think the only fear is we all know what happened with Bret Hart and WCW. If you let it get too long and you don't have an outside of kayfabe firm contract, and he's really going to wait till he negotiates between the WWE and AEW, you would just be handing the real life Max Friedman all the leverage. You got to get that title off him, I think, before November. I think if you let it get that close, and there's really going to be that real life, not kayfabe, negotiation, you got to rip the title off him. You can't let him get close because that can change history. You're just giving a guy too much power. And I'm not saying that Max doesn't maybe deserve that much leverage in negotiation, but he's already got enough. We already know how big of a star he is. And if you're Tony Khan and you let him sit and you haven't actually, behind closed doors, signed him for another 2.5 years, another 3 years, whatever it may be, and you're going, okay, on January 1st, your contract's expired. We start getting real close, late December show, and he's like, you got to drop the belt tonight. And Max goes, nope.
Winter's coming. I think that's what it is.
That's what I'm afraid of, those. Nope. Now, if you play that storyline out on screen inside of kayfabe, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Right? You play that out on screen, okay. But Tony's got to, behind closed doors, get that contract signed. Because that is one of the biggest risks, I think, as a booker you could take, would be allowing Max to have the power to, I mean, what if you get to the last Wednesday in December, right?
If he gets the winter is coming, and let's say that Punk does beat him for the belt at All In, or was it All Out?
Yeah.
And then we spend the rest of the year of MJF just frantic, and we get to that winter is coming, and this is just me just playing around with stuff. What if we get to a time limit draw? Punk, he couldn't beat Punk. His contract is officially up at that time limit draw.
I love that idea.
Can't get it.
That's actually fun. And then here's the thing, though, is do you believe he's going to WWE or no? There's a lot of people. And
I don't believe he's going.
Okay.
He should.
Really?
But he's probably not. And I think it's just because he had take kayfabe off. I really believe that he's invested in AEW. I believe that he wants that place to grow and to be bigger and better than WWE. And that can only happen with him there.
I agree. The only one I disagree on is he should. The reason I don't think he should is because I don't think MJF can be MJF all the way in the WWE system. And I think will hurt him in the long run. His commercial success with the heel character he has right now is possible, but it's going to be difficult. I mean, it's easy. They talk about getting typecast in Hollywood. Tell me Max isn't typecast.
Oh, yeah.
We know who he is. And don't get me wrong. I think he could be successful in the WWE. I think he'd be successful almost anywhere he goes. He's that charismatic and talented, but I have and I don't want to say a conspiracy theory. I think when he returned as the Joker at All Out last year, he signed a contract extension.
I do too.
And got paid. That's my personal belief, right? Like that's obviously up for debate. But yeah, I think he's probably signed through 2025 instead of 4.
Yeah,
That'd be my
absolutely.
guess. They
I don't
tacked
think
on a
he's
year,
signing anything long. It's just another year.
another
We'll see
year,
how
they
it
tacked on a
goes.
year, and then they paid him what he asked for. Because remember, he was on way too low of a contract. He had a
Yes.
point
Yes.
when he cut the pipe bomb 2.0. That was in LA.
Mhm.
Ironically. Yeah, when he cut that promo, it was up in the air, like, oh, he's not getting paid enough, and he's like the bidding war of 2024. I think the fact that that's continued to stay on screen, I would be so uncomfortable as a business owner allowing even someone that I trusted with an expiring contract to make a joke about it in an entertainment setting on a live microphone. I just find that hard to wrap my head around. It's easy for me to suspend disbelief and enjoy the story from, an entertainment level, but it's a little bit like in movies when something's like so over the top it's entertaining, but that could never happen.
If it was anybody else, yes.
Yeah.
But with MJF,
Yeah.
you don't
I
know.
know. It could be either one. I'm torn. I do think no matter what, the situation's been handled pretty well. I
Mhm.
think all around. From his return in the fall of last year, all the way through. Even, I mean, Punk. People forgot after Brawl Out happened with the torn tricep, he was guaranteed out 7 months.
Yep.
So like, I actually love that he kind of, other than like weird Instagram rants every now and again and a few other things, he like kind of kept his mouth shut.
Yep, for the most
Like
part.
nobody really knew what the deal was, right? Like it's funny, even like my casual fan friends would be like, "Dude, when's Punk coming back?" I'm like, "Bro, if I knew, I would have texted you months ago." Like if I
And
had any idea.
the brilliant thing is nobody said anything. The Bucks haven't
Nothing.
said anything. Kenny hasn't said anything. Tony hasn't said anything. I haven't even heard anything from Ace Steel or Larry the Dog.
Nothing. Yeah, Larry the
Nobody.
Dog's not even barking anymore. It's ridiculous. I'm with you on that one. It's like, yeah, I mean, it reminds me of the old school wrestling days, like kayfabe. We understand what it is,
Mhm.
and the storytelling and how that works. But I do enjoy like the suspense of disbelief, right? We don't need to know everything. We're a spoiler free
Right.
website anyway. And being able to speculate like this is fun. It's
Mhm.
like it could be any of it, and it's just gonna be interesting to see where they go. Okay. So at the end of the day, do you think by the end of this year, let's end on this one. By the end of this year, we get CM Punk versus MJF?
Yes, absolutely.
I think so too.
At Winter is Coming. Winter is Coming has turned into their Clash of Champions to me,
Yeah,
where it's not a pay per view, but it's pay per view level stuff.
100%. Okay, then one more. Do you believe we get Punk and FTR versus the Bucks and Kenny?
Oh, definitely. At All In.
I think so too. I truly believe that's the main event at All In, the no-brainer main event. I mean, honestly, if they wanted to make it an 8-man, they could add Hangman to the other side too and add somebody to Punk and FTR, and it's electric.
Mhm.
Like if you do that, are you kidding me? It's off the charts. Um, be the only way I could ever see an 8-person tag main eventing sold out show, but I think that would sell out. You get
Oh,
Punk in
definitely.
the same ring as the Bucks, Kenny and Hangman. Oh, goodness gracious, is that doing business?
I said Wembley will be people will be falling from the rafters.
Yeah. People will be jumping the fence to sneak into the stadium.
Mhm.
I think it'll be one of those things where it's like they almost can't sell enough tickets for that one, I think.
Mhm.
The build would just be so great. But either way, man, this has been a fun show. It's
Yes.
awesome having you on. I know tomorrow we will be back. It should be 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, so it's a little later, 6 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern, and that is 11 p.m. for those of you in the UK. Friday we'll be back at I believe the same time as today, if not 1 hour earlier. Drizzy, are you back on Friday? I believe. Is that
I
right?
am not.
Not Saturday, Sunday? Can't
Nope.
remember.
Nope.
No worries. So we will see you next week, Drizzy, either way. And yeah, thank you guys. Wait, we got 5 comments at the last
Whoa.
second. That's awesome. Keone says, "Oh, thanks for the show. Love you guys. MJF Punk will be lit. Pinnacle reboot. Keone, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we will see you guys next time. From me and Drizzy, thank you guys for everything, and we will talk to you soon."
Yeah.